London, February 14, 2026. Like many royal scandals, it started with something seemingly insignificant, a purse. For her participation at the Women and Ekin Leadership Gala earlier this month, Princess Anne's daughter Zara Tindall specially commissioned a limited edition Balenciaga cash crocodile embossed purse. The ornament was intended to represent both her developing influence as a contemporary royal entrepreneur and her sophisticated fashion growth. It did not attend the gala. Several people close to the Royal Wardrobe Office claim that the purse is hand-embossed, subtly stamped with Zara's initials, and kept under a special reservation. Days before her crew was supposed to collect it, it disappeared along with Balenciaga's London showroom. Quiet questions were asked. According to reports, Balenciaga expressed remorse for a regretful logistical blunder. There was no police report submitted. Unfazed in public, but apparently furious in private, Zara decided against taking the matter further. Until the handbag was seen on Meghan Markle's arm during a private fashion meeting in Paris, that would have been the end of it. In addition to being unlucky, the timing was surgical. The picture showed Meghan entering the left bank offices of a Paris public relations business wearing all-black Balenciaga and carrying Zara's unreleased. 48 hours following the event, the handbag was circulated internally inside the fashion house. It was a prompt and discreet response. Contract negotiations were secretly put on hold while Balenciaga reviewed Meghan's proposed ambassadorship. Zara remained mute, but a long-suppressed resentment had resurfaced behind the royal gates. Zara Tindall, an Olympic equestrian, mother, businesswoman, and wife of rugby player Mike Tindall, has long taken a different route than her royal cousins. Despite not choosing to be a princess, she is well liked by both the public and the family for her composure and refusal to engage in media manipulation. However, over the last 2 years, Zara has emerged as particularly stylish, effortlessly composed, and fiercely devoted to the monarchy. She is a representation of what a contemporary British aristocracy may be. According to a senior courtier, she doesn't look for attention, but when it does find her, she knows how to handle it. The Meghan event is all the more shocking because of that distinction. We've been informed that Zara didn't demand a retraction or publicly reply. Rather, she made a polite but strong request to Balenciaga via her private secretary. An internal inquiry into how a reserved item got into the hands of someone who purportedly had no ongoing business dealings with the brand. There could not have been a more stark disparity in responses. A glossy video teaser for what seemed to be a new fashion project called Love with Meghan was published by Meghan Markle's team within 24 hours of the internal Balenciaga leak. It included close-ups of accessories, including the now-famous purse, mood boards, and snippets of Meghan in Paris. The action, according to palace sources, was a purposeful provocation that wasn't limited to Zara. According to a fashion publicist knowledgeable on the matter, Meghan's rollout was timed with purpose. It was no accident that the handbag was there. It was a show that I can still command attention. However, behind the scenes, Meghan was starting to lose credibility. It eventually came to light that Meghan was never officially confirmed as a guest of the house's corporate branding team, even though she attended Paris Fashion Week and made public appearances in Balenciaga, supposedly at the invitation of creative director Pier Paolo Piccoli. The pre-approved ambassador shortlists did not include her name. Internally, there were concerns over her abrupt affiliation with the brand, particularly in view of recent accusations pertaining to her past clothing scandals. Although it has long been assumed, Zara Tindall has never publicly expressed her contempt for Meghan Markle. Zara was never impressed by Catherine, Princess of Wales's early cautious diplomacy. A family acquaintance said she always thought Meghan was strategic, dramatic, and most importantly, exhausting. Zara reportedly stayed away from royal family functions before you were sad. The Queen turns aside as the Sussexes arrive at St. Paul's Cathedral in 2022, according to pictures taken at her Platinum Jubilee. While at Prince Philip's memorial, she made no eye contact. Insiders claim that the handbag incident was only the catalyst for years of hostility. Princess Anne, Zara's mother, is renowned for having a strong will and keen intuition, yet she has never made any public remarks about Meghan. However, she has not participated in any gatherings, activities, or gestures featuring the Duchess of Sussex since. There's a lot. According to reports, Anne discreetly counseled Balenciaga to act honorably and morally following the handbag scandal. Sources said she had a clear message. Although the monarchy did not give orders, it does remember treason and disrespect. According to insiders, temperament is not the only factor that sets Zara and Anne apart from Meghan. It is their full comprehension of power. As the senior female royal on active service, Anne's impact comes from her heritage more than her voice. Raised with that heritage in her blood, Zara is adept using it covertly. They don't engage in combat in tabloids. According to one retired courtier, they don't act out. They let the organization do the talking, and it would in this instance. Insiders at Balenciaga started voicing worries about the Duchess's previous fashion conduct, especially with regard to the now-defunct Arul clothing project, while Meghan's staff dismissed the Paris episode as a coincidence. Formal questions evolved from quiet whispers, and the house's legal team halted all negotiations before the end of the week. Integrity was now at stake in what had begun as a misplaced handbag. Paris, February 15, 2026. Despite the email's stealthy arrival, its consequences were profound at the time in Central Europe. An internal memo titled "Contractual Freeze" was released by Balenciaga's senior legal advisor, Meghan Markle. The fashion business decided to halt all informal and pending arrangements with the Duchess of Sussex until concerns about product access and brand alignment are thoroughly examined, according to the document that was later leaked to industry insiders. And while it was a gentle blow encased in legal formalities, it was a thunderclap behind the scenes. Meghan Markle once hinted that no public announcement will be made, and that the face of a potential new luxury sustainability brand had recently been removed from consideration. A previous brand manager described it as a deliberate silence. They wished to step back without creating a scene. Meghan, however, denied them the choice, are Grasson and Felsted. Within 48 hours, Meghan's defenders published a string of Instagram stories that alluded to institutional sabotage and misogynistic tropes, suggesting a larger plot to keep her out of elite circles. The connotation was obvious even though Balenciaga was never specifically acknowledged. The playbook was the same as before. Victimhood above accountability, said one palace insider. However, something had changed this time, as Meghan's Zara Tindall did the exact opposite as her team rushed to recast her image, reaching out to smaller European brands and releasing teaser content for a lifestyle relaunch. She remained silent. As a silent gesture of support, she instead wore a white tailored suit from Victoria Beckham's upcoming collection to the Cartier British Polo Awards in Gloucester. The pictures went viral. Her aristocratic ease, sophisticated restraint, and controlled elegance were lauded by fashion reviewers. He put up a placard indicating that the maneuver was not only stylish, but also calculated. Zara doesn't strive after fame. Zara, however, remained still when Meghan attempted to turn the fashion industry into a loyalty race. According to an editor at Vogue UK, the world moved toward her. Harper's Bazaar UK reported a week later that Zara had received an approach for a cover story. The message was clear even though she turned down the offer, stating that she had family obligations. There was no need for Zara to struggle in the battle for public opinion. She was already victorious. Princess Anne had started making, according to senior royal personnel, Anne started a family-only examination of how royal associates were coordinating with businesses. Although tactfully characterized as ordinary, the date aligned with the mounting apprehension around Meghan's purported abuse of royal illusions during brand talks. It was Anne's method of setting boundaries through policy rather than news conferences. A long-standing royal aide remarked she used procedure because she knew the press would misrepresent her. That's Anne. You will feel the walls shift around you, but you won't ever see her flinch. Additionally, after the Queen's death, Anne revived her private advisory council on public image. Insiders claim that the group's initial task involved examining how to further elevate Zara, Lady Louise, and Sophie of Edinburgh as silent representatives of the monarchy. In other words, the true royals were being remade as Meghan yelled. Meghan's situation started to deteriorate as Anne strengthened her camp and Zara prospered. After leaked memoranda revealed discrepancies between claimed expenses and actual project output, the U.S. Internal Revenue Service renewed its investigation into her RTUL Foundation. According to reports, Meghan's most dependable ally in the United States, Tyler Perry, who was formerly a quiet patron, declined to provide additional financial support. Even worse, Meghan's press trip in Paris was a failure. It felt off-brand, according to a fashion PR professional. Although Meghan wanted to be perceived as an inventor, the industry views her negatively as a disruptor. For the first time since leaving the royal family in 2020, Meghan's impact seems to have reached a plateau. She used to pursue luxury companies with ease, but now they were cautious. There weren't many invitations, and Meghan appeared more and more alone without Harry by her side, who had apparently returned to the UK for secret talks with palace legal counsel. Her posts on social media started to fluctuate more, a moment of empowerment followed by a warning that she might have to expose unimaginable secrets. It was no longer a subtle subtext. According to a former Sussex aide, Meghan has always viewed visibility as her advantage. This time, however, the room is no longer terrified, pasted by. The gap was no longer concealed by mid-February 2026. No formal statement had been released by the royal family. The message was overwhelming, though. They had selected sides and drawn lines. Conversations became purposeful in the hidden courtyards of Windsor and the quiet rooms of Bagshot Park. Once regarded as a non-working royal, Zara Tindall was now at the forefront of a cultural realignment through public dignity rather than palace command. The only thing she had done was nothing. The morning after the Paris fashion incident went viral online, Lady Louise Windsor was first spotted leaving Zara's